Welcome, everyone, to our masterclass on executive presence on camera. Daniel and I are just really glad that you're here, and we intend for you to get a lot of value out of this. This is not going to be a sales pitch. This is going to be information that you can really take with you and start using right away. The whole concept is to feel confident on camera as well as in a room, because there are so many people that are great in person or in front of an audience perhaps, but when they get to that camera lens, they just sort of freeze up. And you're freezing up in every element. You're freezing up in your head, in the mindset, in the physical body, which is going to affect how you come through the camera. And that's going to be obvious in the way you look in your face as well as in your voice. For those who don't know me, I am Laura Doman. I am a working professional TV and film and voice actor. So I'm in front of the camera all the time or behind the mic. And what I am trying to do today is to share some of those acting techniques that don't require any presentation or fancy performance skills, but that you can use that you might not have heard before. And I come from this honestly because I used to be in corporate IT. So I had been in sales. I had been doing the presentations. And so I am bringing the performance aspect right to the business world. And it's all about clarity and it's confidence and most importantly, the real human connection. With me is Daniel Erbe, who is a vocal authority coach. And Daniel, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about yourself before I get back on subject here.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you all don't know me, I'm Daniel Erbe. I'm a professional singer, stage performer of over 30 years. I also served in the military as a soloist, performing all over the nation and parts of the world. And what I do now, though, which is the most important, is I transform professionals and executives and speakers into a resonant and commanding presence with their voice and their presentations. And what's important about that is we all know that you are the authority in your niche. You know, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an executive, but how you show up on camera, in person, on a stage with your presence and your vocal presence, that is the key for the audience then to trust you as the authority. And so that's my space now. And I'm just using all the skills that I've learned and now just elevating professionals with their voice.
Together, we're working two sides of the same coin. I'm going to help you show up as the fearless, bold, authentic leader you are, and Daniel's going to help you sound strong and resonant and confident from start to finish, no matter how long you have to be up there on stage or behind the camera. So what we're going to be doing is just showing you some mistakes people often make and ways to be able to fix it. So you're going to take notes and you're going to come away with things that you can use. At the end, I'm going to first talk about how to show up on camera. Then Daniel, of course, will talk about the vocal end. We're going to be offering you some gifts. I've got a practical resource you can use that'll establish that on-camera confidence. And Daniel's going to be sharing with you a vocal tool that you can start using immediately. And we will provide those links to you towards the end. But all of this is going to be a conversation because that's what on camera is. There's no hacks, there's no scripts. We're not going to even throw in the slides, and we're not going to pretend to be something we're not. These are just practical shifts that are going to help you feel more like yourself. And that's going to make you more powerful on camera. So that's how we're going to dive in. So just to kind of get started, if you were to rate your own on-camera confidence from 1 to 10, 1 being, don't get me in front of the camera, I don't want to even have it on in general meetings, I'm invisible, to 10 meaning I'm a pro, I'm not even sure why I'm here. Where would you put? Just throw it in the chat from 1 to 10. Just an honest assessment. Okay. We've got a couple of 10s. All right. Perfect. Okay. And I'm also interested in knowing, are you here primarily for the on-camera aspect, or are you mostly focused in on the vocal mastery? Because that'll help us also know how we want to orient things. So either on camera or vocal. On camera, both, love it. Vocal. Okay. Not sure both. Great. We got a great mix here. Love it. Wonderful. Now, let me ask you this also. How do you feel usually right before you hit record? I mean, if you had to come up with one word, do you feel confident, nervous, awkward? Oh, the first thing that comes to mind, just throw it in the chat. Excited. That's a good one. Yeah, we should be excited because we're going to talk about play and how it's a lot of fun. Well, we got a great attitude here. So we got a lot of professional people here who are pretty good. Okay. If you're not sure, we're going to get you to that excited area. And let me ask you one more thing. Where are you showing up most on camera right now? Mostly, let's say with Zoom. Are you making videos, webinars, a guest on a podcast? Maybe it's all of the above. But where are you right now? Zoom and webinars, a little bit of everything. Podcast, TikTok. Okay, well, guess what? It's going to cover the whole gamut. What I'm going to do right now is to dive into the 3 biggest on-camera mistakes that are sabotaging your confidence and credibility. I work with people really all across the board. Anywhere from people who are just getting started and trying to figure this whole thing out to those who want to be the media-ready, go-to industry experts. Perhaps they're wonderful speaking in front of live audiences, but when the cameras come and they're on set, they're just freezing up. And how do you take that expertise and that personality right through the camera into somebody's living room? And by that same token, I do work with speakers who are great on stage, but the camera's a different medium. And how do you translate one to the other? So executives, anybody who is going to be in front of the camera making videos, I have seen some of these common things across all of them. So let me ask you one thing as a leading question. Who naturally looks at the Zoom boxes when you're talking to people online? Where do your eyes go first? Are you going right to the Zoom box? Or are you going to ignore it and go right to the camera? It's an either or choice. Put it in the chat. Camera. Oh, Muriel. There we go. We got some pros here. Camera. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, because the number one problem people have is that there is not any eye contact. The camera is the viewer's eyes looking back at you. And naturally, as human beings, that is how we're engaging. We are looking directly through to somebody, and we're going to be gauging, most importantly, do we trust them? Do they seem to understand what they're talking about? Do they understand what we're saying? And are they being truthful? And mostly, it's the emotion. Because we can say words, and maybe you've seen this or experienced it with any AI avatar. We can get the information, but it's the tone and it's the energy and it's the feeling behind it. And when you come down to the basic way of human speech in any kind of a group setting, it's usually storytelling. And we want to move somebody. If you're trying to be selling something, you're trying to get them to feel like they need what you have. And here's a solution to the problem. Intellect is important, but you have to have the feeling. And when you're on camera, you've got to go right through that fourth wall, break through it, and get right to the person. Let me just give you an example of a client. Her name is Jen. She's a speaker and a mindset coach. She's a gregarious, and she is naturally drawn to the faces. And she's great in person, but she had a hard time adjusting to the camera because she wanted to talk to Stu over here. Oh, and there was Melissa over on that side. And the problem is when you do that, people don't feel you. They might see the top of your head if you're looking down. They may look up the nose, which is not such a great look. But people want to be able to see you directly. So how do you do that? Because sometimes you're just dealing with a laptop. That's quite a bit of a trick. I'm going to give you several different fixes that you can try, and which help my client Jen. Number 1, let's just say you only have your phone, you're on a call, or you are directly on a laptop. With a phone, it's easier because the face is there. But on a laptop, it's much more difficult. So what do? There's nothing wrong when somebody is speaking to look at them. Get their face in your mind if you need to keep that person in your head so that you could speak with them, but then answer directly to camera. It can give the impression you're listening to them and you are caring about what they say, which should be true, but then you're speaking from the heart. And you don't need to see and look at their eyes to see whether they are responding or not. Use your imagination. This is what actors do a lot, especially voice actors when we only have a microphone to deal with. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's going to make a world of difference to the person on the other end. Here's another way of hacking it. If you have a secondary screen, put it behind the camera, which might be on top of your first screen. So for example, you might have a desktop, a laptop, and you can put the camera on top. If you have a screen behind it, you can position those windows such that the person's eyes are directly behind the camera. Because for example, I'm looking at the camera right now, but if I were to shift a little to the right or left or up or down, you probably don't notice a whole lot of difference. You'll still be able to see the person, gauge the reaction. You may not see their whole face, but it's the eyes that matter. My favorite hack, though, is a little tiny camera, and I use one called the Center Cam, and I can share the link with you later on. It is a tiny little square camera, really, no bigger than a dice, that's on a wire that comes down over my laptop or my screen. And it's so small that I can put the windows behind it, for example, for Zoom calls, and then move those around. So it always looks like I'm talking to somebody because I am. I see them. With my client, Jen, the first thing we did, since she didn't have much tech, was to use her imagination, to be able to see somebody in her mind's eye, or even put a picture of somebody next to the camera lens, just to remind her. Well, then she was able to work with a second screen, and then finally she did move to that little camera. And it just increased her engagement tremendously and helped her close a lot more sales. But let me go down to the second most problem people have. And I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to hear this in the chat. Put me in the chat if you feel like you need to have a scripted presentation or any kind of detailed notes to keep you on track or fairly fluent. If that's you, put down me. Because this is something most people need. Yep, we got a lot of honest folks here, right? Bullet points, even whatever it is. Yeah, we always need something. We're talking usually for a great amount of time, and it's hard to keep everything in your head unless you've done it a million bajillion bajillion times. The difference, though, is you want to use it as a guideline. You don't want to use it as too much as a crutch because you're not performing for an audience. You're actually having a one-to-one conversation in the camera. And it's great to keep on track, but use your own words. After all, raise your hand, put down me here if you love somebody reading to you. I don't think I'm going to see too many me's. After all, how many of us really like talking heads? How many of us like people reading to us? Probably not since we were little kids and it was our mother reading a bedtime story. And part of the problem is that when you read, you're using a different voice than your conversational one, and people can tell. And if you've ever been tempted to use a teleprompter, unless you have been trained, I am going to urge you not to do it, because there's nothing more aggravating than having somebody who's supposed to talk to you and have a conversation, and instead they're moving their head or their eyes are going back and forth. And we can all tell. All right, so please stay away from that. Now, sometimes if people are going to be more perfectionistic, and I can be guilty about that, you want to be thorough, and you do want to be perfect. The problem here is a couple things. One, you're going to probably lose your audience because you may want to give them more information than they can possibly keep up with. And perfect usually means stale, and it means boring. Or it can even seem overperformed, like you're going through the gestures, and it looks like you're being very robotic. And who here really enjoys AI? It's a great tool, but do we want it lecturing to us? So don't imitate us. I have a client, Mark, who likes to be able to be sure that all the technical aspects are covered. I mean, would even put everything on a presentation and read through it. Nobody walked away remembering anything. So what we did was several things. One, Mark, I said, you know what? You're enough. You know your stuff, inside and out. It's a crutch that you don't really need. Number two, and this is where an actor trick comes in. You can have your notes right next to you. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with even using a prop. Like, let's say you have your notes in a little notebook like this. Pick it up and refer it, or it's a sheet of paper. Nobody's going to fault you for it. You're looking down, you're getting an idea, and put it down, and then talk directly to camera. You can also put those notes right there on the screen next to your camera, like the bullet list that I saw some people put down. It was a Dr. Christine. I know that you do that, and it's a very handy way to make sure you cover the main points. You can have it available, but again, you want to be human. You're not a perfect simulation of a human being. You're the real thing. And human beings on occasion look away. We think. We stop and pause. And we pick something up. Oh, that reminds me. This is what I want to talk about. And makes you sound more confident because you're able to do that. Another hack would be just to put the notes on that screen behind the camera. So again, you can scroll through. Do not put word for word. But if you have the notes, it's another way of handling it. And with my client Mark, it was a mindset shift primarily for him. One, he wasn't dependent. He didn't need it. He wasn't going to forget anything that important because he knew his stuff. And then he was able to put the bullets up there. And even then was able to put a screen behind. And it got to the point where he really didn't need much because you can even physically load it on your hand. It's another actor trick. You can associate the thumb with one point, the fingers with a second and a third. And that, just by physically moving your fingers, will guide you from point to point. But I'm going to move into my last problem area. And let me ask you a question. Put down yes or no in the chat. Do you like seeing yourself on camera? Honest, yes, no? Oh, we got a lot of great confident people with an exclamation mark. Fantastic. Perfect. Most people here do. There are a lot of people who don't. And I just want to say this, and I'll say it quickly because I think most of us know it. Nobody really cares what you look like. They're here because you got something of value that they want or need. And if you could solve a problem, that's all they care about. So unless you're trying to model makeup or beauty, it doesn't matter. Be real. So many people don't even get started. There's that imposter syndrome. There's that mean girl living rent-free in your head saying, oh my gosh, you're too old, you're too ugly, you're not credible. Kick them to the curb. If it's a devil on your shoulder, bing, they are gone. Because all that means is that you're going to create a separation between your audience and your message. Because instead of focusing on them and what you want to share right from your heart, that feeling, that emotion, you are more concerned with dealing with something or somebody telling you, you can't do this, you're not good enough, and you're worrying about it every step of the way. And when your attention is divided like that, you're not going to be full in for your audience. So, I've had plenty of clients who fall in this category. It is a mindset shift, and we often find that getting people comfortable makes them a much more engaging speaker. I've had one person, Marcy, who just thought she was dull as anything. But once we got her feeling like it doesn't matter what you look like or if your hair looks perfect, you're enough, she let her personality come out. She even became a rather funny speaker, and it made a difference. So let me just give you 3 quick fixes here. Number 1, ditch perfection. Let the bots deal with that. They're boring. And the boring is going to keep you broke because people, honest to God, love to watch a train wreck. That means be human, be a little messy. If you make a mistake, if you slur your words like I might have a few times, no big deal. You go on. We all do it. It's relatable. And that's what gets people's attention. The fact this is a human being talking to them, not just a perfect semblance of one. Use something else that I like to call future memory. If you're very nervous, if you're very worried about things, visualize your presentation being a huge success. And then you're reliving the glory moment when you're actually giving it. And when you do that, you feel like the pressure is off. And third, get comfortable in your own skin. And Daniel, here, you can come along and do this one with me because I'm going to turn the mic over to you in just a second. First of all, if you're feeling uptight, you're going to want to do some physical movements. If you can do any kind of exercise before you get on camera, it's going to loosen you up. If you're not the exercising type or you just physically can't, there are small things you can do. Just sitting here, raise your shoulders to your ears and drop them. Do that a few times, and you're going to feel relaxed a little bit more around your neck. Move that head around from side to side in slow circles. Just get it all moving. Move up to the face. Don't let this be a hard mask. It's expressive. Let people see you. Pretend that you're one of those little machines in the Children's Museum. They come and have a lever, and they're going to make a big happy face and then a frowny one. And exaggerate. Go into caricature. It loosens up the muscles. The same thing with the eyebrows. Just like a little kid will press the lever to see how the eyebrows work. Hi, I'm surprised. Furrowed, down, and mad. And then you can move into the mouth. You can do all kinds of tongue twisters. But sometimes just getting that tongue moving itself is enough. And I'm going to give you a few silly things here. Because don't worry about looking silly on camera. You're going to be probably more fun to watch. And you're going to have fun. You're going to play. So here are a few things. Move that tongue around, up and down, side to side. You could do little lip trills. Or my favorite, pant like a dog. Yeah, you heard me. Pant like a dog. And you're just going to feel a little bit looser and ready to go. And those are all kinds of small exercises that are just the beginning of what Daniel's going to talk about. It's just the tip of the iceberg, just to be able to prepare you, get ready, make sure you drink plenty of water. But I'm going to turn it over to Daniel now because he's the real expert in all of that. So Daniel,
Oh, wow.
take us away with vocal mastery.
That was amazing, Laura. Thank you so much for sharing all that value. There definitely is some overlap when it comes to the voice and your face and your presence. And so I'd love to be able to tackle a little bit of what we were just talking about. One thing that is so important, and I'd love for anyone just to chime in to the chat. Before you go on camera or on a stage, do you sometimes have that person on your shoulder, just like Laura was saying, that saying you're not good enough, you don't belong here, right? That right there is imposter syndrome. It's one of the limiting beliefs that becomes amplified when you go on stage, when you go on camera. So does anyone here, am I the only one that sometimes believes that I have imposter syndrome? Anyone here want to share that in the chat? Right. No one is interested. Absolutely not. Yeah, exactly, right? Yes, this has happened. Yes, Danielle, thank you so much for being vulnerable and being honest. This happens to me a lot. But there are things that you can do to be able to regulate that mindset, right? We're not just going to just say, throw it away. But there are things that we can do with our body and our breath to be able to control some of that limiting belief. I like to say I have a mind, body, breath method. If you want to think of a Venn diagram and you put those 3 circles in, and right in the middle is where comes a commanding performance, right? So this is one thing that you can do right before you go on stage or go on camera. Take some nice grounded breaths. In fact, I'd like for all of us to be able to demonstrate, because we're all going to be interactive with this session here. Go ahead and put your hands on your chest and take a breath from your chest up. Right. And one more time. What happens? Your chest goes up, your shoulders go up, and immediately you get tense in the voice. But now let's try something different. Go ahead and put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Now take a breath with your nose and feel that left hand expand out and down. And then breathe out. And try that again. Low breath. Expand with your belly area. And then breathe out. Share in the chat, what are you feeling right now? Does this feel like a little bit of a relief? Does this feel calming? Yes, feels great. Calm. Belly breathing is awesome. Soothing, calm, exactly. Right? Because when our breath rises, the throat tightens. And so then what people will hear is a tight, tense throat before they hear content. So this is a one way that you can just go on stage, go on camera, feeling that confidence, feeling that oxygenation of your mind, of your brain. So I want to talk also about posture. I'm sure you hear a lot of people talking about posture and have a commanding presence, but why don't we just break this down for a second, okay? I know probably everyone here is seated, but why don't we just do a roll down exercise real quick? So we're going to start with our head, and then we're going to go up and down with our shoulders, collapse the chest, and then just kind of hang down. And now you should feel kind of relaxed. And now we're going to go back and we're going to stack one vertebrae at a time. Feet firmly planted on the ground, knees over your feet. Then the hips. Now with the hips, you want to feel kind of wiggle down, a little wiggle around. You want to feel these sits bones. And the sits bones, you want those to be firmly planted into your chair. And then we're going to roll up. Take the vertebrae from the top, the chest, the shoulders back and down, the chest elevated, not puffed up, and then the head comes up. And now you want to feel like the head is almost like a bobblehead, right? You want to feel it can kind of move around, and then you want to feel a string going straight out of your head up to the ceiling. Now, what does that feel like? Share in the chat, what are you feeling like right now? Does that feel elevated? It feels, let's see, fill up your lungs like you're filling up a glass of water. Great. Relaxed. Thank you, Jeff. Aligned. Great word, Daniela. Anyone else was ready, relaxed? Weird. Okay, Karen. Thank you for that. Balanced. Yes, this right here is a way to get you aligned. I love that word. And what does this do to now with your voice? We're going to do a little bit of lip trills. That's what Laura had briefly touched with. But the lip trills is basically with the lips, feeling as though there's a little bit of air to just buzz the lips. I will demonstrate. And you don't have to make a sound. It can just be. And what this is doing, again, it is relaxing you. But now it's showing you that you do not have to use a lot of breath to make a sound. And you can kind of go up and down in your range. Share in the chat, where are you feeling that? Are you feeling that in your body? Are you feeling that buzzing in your face? Are you feeling that in your lips? Where are you feeling that? Muriel says, I used to do this when she was young. Yes, okay. Kids in strict knows how lips and face. Great. All right. So, it feels good in the lips, voice, and the entire mouth. Thank you, Danielle. So, what I want you now to feel, put your hand on your chest and do the same thing. Do you feel your chest kind of vibrating a little bit? A little rumbling? Right? Yes. Right. Voice actors use them all the time before recording. Great, Carrie. So, what I am feeling right now, and I'm hoping that you all are as well, is you're feeling now your body is being connected to your voice. And Deborah shares that she's feeling it in her head. That's great too, because we have different registers and different resonators. So we do want to activate the resonators in the face, but also the resonators in our chest area. And we want to feel it is in one alignment. That's our word of the day. That is like a tube going this way. And then I want you to then say a phrase. Let's just say your name. Daniel. Daniel. And if you can feel it kind of resonating your name in your chest and your head without pushing, but just allowing. Daniel, Laura, Daniela, Jeff. Yeah. Ooh, that's good. Right. Because now what you're doing is now you are regulating and you are using your entire body to speak. I want to talk a little bit about some registers, okay? I know a lot of people speak really high, in a really high voice, but then sometimes they speak in a very low voice. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to isolate both of those registers. So in your very high voice, let's go in like a hooty sound, go, ooh, 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 right? And that should feel very heady, very fluty, like you're saying, like an owl. Ooh, ooh. And now put your hand on your chest and say, I'm here to lead. I am here to lead. And if there's a way that you can feel that hooty sound and that I lead from here sound in your chest, that means that you are now in this mix, in this regulation. And when we are speaking, we want to be speaking in that mix. And the reason is you can have access to your registers. When you're talking about something exciting, you can bring it up a little bit, but you don't bring the shoulders up, you don't bring the tension up, you still stay low, but it can still be exciting, right? And then when it's low and you talk about something that's grounding and earthy, you're not pressing down, you're just allowing the body to be activated. Is this helping? Does this feel as though that There is a different sound coming out of your body. Yeah? And then what I want to talk a little bit about is, Laura was talking about the jaw and the tongue. Absolutely. And I want to do a little bit more of that. Go ahead and take your hands. Massage your neck. Put your thumb underneath the tongue right here. Get in there and start massaging that out. You can even take both thumbs, stick your tongue out, and massage all of that. What you can do, not now, but later, you can take a napkin or a paper towel, put it on your tongue, and then pull your tongue out just a little bit and move it side to side. And what that does, it starts freeing up your mechanism, right? Your neck, your tongue. Also massaging your jaw and your face. And now start speaking. Say, I lead from here. Or your name, Daniel. And what does that feel like? It should feel like you are starting to now release, relax. It feels looser, solid. Thank you, Deborah. It sounds very different. Exactly. These are things that you can do right before you go on stage, right before you go on camera, and it allows the voice to start unlocking. It starts coming into a presence. It starts coming into a resonant voice. And when you are resonating with your audience, you are connecting with your audience. Speaking with vibration feels like I'm emanating frequency. Oh my gosh, I love that, Danielle. That is amazing. You are emanating frequency. You are connecting your energy with your audience's energy, and you're using your voice in a grounded, healthy, relaxed way. Share in the chat, how are you feeling right now? What does your voice sound like when you say your name, when you're speaking? Go ahead and share in the chat. What is this feeling? Calming, relaxed, full and relaxed. It feels full. Great. And this is not about just projecting and speaking loud, but it is speaking, and Deborah says, a much richer sound. Absolutely. A much richer sound. You're giving yourself more possibilities and more choices. And does it have the same effect when filming content? Yes, it does. Because now you are feeling this groundedness. You're not speaking from the throat up. It is more relaxed. And especially when you are nervous, this is a way to be able to regulate the nerves. This is speaking with intention. This is speaking without emotion and adrenaline. I know I've heard many people say, oh, I just want to get hyped up and then get on stage and then just share with my heart, and I just want to just get at the audience, and I love the energy, but there is a way to be able to control and regulate, because sometimes that emotion can overpower, and what would that do? It immediately goes right to your voice. I'm sure you know a lot of speakers that will speak very resonant and very clear in the very beginning of their talk, and then halfway through, or maybe at the end, they start getting kind of hoarse. Because and as an audience member, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm connecting. But imagine you as a speaker doing that day in and day out. Maybe you have 3 speaking engagements back to back to back the same day. Do you have the tools to be able to mitigate and regulate your vocal fatigue. And I want to go a little further in this because who here wants to be speaking 20, 30, 40 years from now? I know I do. And I know it is so crucial for us as communicators to know how our voice works, just like singers do, because we need to have longevity. We only have one voice, two vocal folds, one vocalis muscle, and we need to treat it like it is as special as we know it is. And so there is a couple more things that I want to talk about vocal wellness. I know this is a dry season right now. A lot of people are getting colds and they might not be hydrating as much as we want. And thank you, Laura, for showing that demonstration of drinking the water. But yes, we want to be hydrating consistently. So as a professional singer, I actually like to be hydrated 3 days before I do a singing event, right? Because if you start hydrating an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours before you speak, that water, that hydration does not get to your vocal folds. It takes a while to be able to go throughout your entire body. So if you have a speaking event, hydrate a couple days before, right? Because then you're not going to get that dry mouth and you're not going to have to drink a lot of water during your presentation. 2, sleep. Sleep is so vital. Anywhere from 7 to 9 hours every day. Make sure you get in that consistent sleep cycle, because if not, your voice is you're going to feel it, right? Now, humidifier, this is like one of my favorite inventions. I have a humidifier. I sleep with a humidifier. I am not ashamed to share that. And the reason is when you have constant water or constant mist, then it's just allowing your nasal areas to stay moist. So it's gonna help you mitigate getting a cold or getting sick, but also your voice is gonna feel just lubricated and healthy all the time. And then these warm-ups that I'm talking about, the lip trills, the whoo, and all of these relaxations for your voice. So I hope this helps. I'd love to hear maybe some takeaways in the chat of how you're feeling and how you can approach your speaking. How does this feel right now? Oh, let me go into the chat. I keep my humidifier 50% in the winter. Great. Knowing the vibrations of my voice is so vital. Coming from the diaphragm, right? Yeah. Okay, like building a systematic process for preparing brings me back to high school choir. Yeah, exactly. And again, this isn't just for singers. This is for speakers as well. I mean, I work with CEOs and executives and business owners, and I have a client right now who is a CEO of a major corporation, and I asked him, I said, why is this the time that you want to start working on your voice? And he said, my company demonstrates and resonates authority and power, and I speak on behalf of my company throughout the world. But now my voice is feeling vocal fatigue, and I don't have that authority when I get up and I speak because I'm losing my voice. And he said, I want to be speaking and representing my company worldwide for the next 30 years. Help. Please help. And I hear this a lot. Help me get my voice back. And these are some of the tools that you all can go right now to be able to mitigate any type of vocal fatigue, get your voice back. Let's go and let's communicate in a resonant, healthy way.
Thank you, Daniel. And I'm telling you, just to get started, he's got an amazing gift that he's going to share with you. I don't know if you have it yet ready to put in the chat, but I also have something like the 10 strategies so that you can show up on camera as your best self. All the little tips, tricks, techniques, things from the acting world that really would help. I'm going to throw that in here right now. Feel free to download it. And also, I'm getting this too as a bonus for the first three people who would like to take me up on this. I'm going to be throwing in a complimentary 45-minute strategy session, one-on-one, for you to be able to talk about anything that you're dealing with concerning on-camera presence, and we'll be able to resolve it, knock it out of the park right then and there. So if that is of interest to you, get on the calendar. First three, it's totally for you. And Daniel, did you put yours up? Yes, you did.
I did. I went ahead and I put my star power framework. So what I talked about right now is just the first two parts of my system: the mind, body, breath, and the standing with presence and tallying with power. But there is so much more that I want to share with you all as well. So the framework and a 20-minute breath work and voice activation video. So click on that link, go ahead and put your information in that, and you will be able to download that Star Power framework and the video. And as a special bonus as well, I went ahead and I put a calendar link in there. That is my Overlook to Unforgettable call. So it is a 20-minute diagnostic, and we'll see exactly where some of the pitfalls in your speaking. We'll talk about your voice. We'll talk about your presentation, and I'll go ahead and we're going to nail it down in that 20 minutes so that the next time that you get on stage or camera, you know exactly how to be able to communicate with this authenticity.
Yes, and I think we have a few more minutes. We can do any questions and answers. You've got both sides of the coin here. How to show up on camera, how to be able to do that dynamic delivery, how to be able to connect. There is, as Daniel said, there's a lot more to all of this. But hopefully you got some great takeaways that you'll be able to apply right away. And so just like to segue, if there are any questions that people would like to throw out in the chat, we've got about 5 more minutes and be happy to entertain them. So just unmute and join us. I guess we covered everything. I don't hear anything. Alrighty.
If we don't have any questions, do we have one brave volunteer that would like to have some hot seat coaching with Laura and myself on your speaking? If you are, go ahead and unmute and say, I'm here, I'm ready.
Bring it on.
All right. Who we got? We got Jeff. All right. Wonderful. Jeff, why don't you go ahead? Why don't you share just the very beginning of a talk or the very beginning of something that you like to do to try to, get some attention, to be able to bring that energy?
Well, I write down all my talks so I don't have to remember them. So I don't have anything in front of me, but but I could let me read or say, I suppose, the intro that I have for my current show that's on the air. I'll do that and we'll see what happens. So I say, welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson. We want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone. So that's what I read at the beginning of every show, among other things. I mean, we do other stuff, announcements and whatever, but that's what I read every show.
Great. Laura, do you want to start?
Yeah. I just want to ask you, why are you reading it if you've been doing so many of these?
Well, because the invisible condition that I live with, which is what inspired the show, has required 7 brain surgeries, and all those surgeries have been right back here behind my right ear. And for anybody that knows the geography of the brain, that's where the short-term memory lives. And so I, I've gotten in the habit of putting everything in front of me. Some things I have memorized, some things I just like to have there. I don't always read it, but it's just nice as a backup.
Well, I
So
could
that's all.
totally understand that. And when you are running your show, do
Yeah.
you have your script more or less behind the camera so it looks like you're not just reading something that's down below? Or do you
Oh, for
actually
sure. So I
drop your
split.
eyes ahead?
Yeah, so the recording software is on this side of the screen, and then I
Yes.
have a Word doc and stuff on this side of my screen, and I just kind of go back,
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's I'm not looking down to read it or anything like that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, because
yeah,
right now I could just say your background's fine, the way you're showing up is fine. I know it's not your studio, and the it sounds good. It sounds
thank you.
natural. It sounds conversational. The only thing I would ask about the eye line, but you're aware of that and you're dealing with it. So as much as you can grab and then speak to camera, that's the only
Yeah,
other thing I would put in there.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Daniel?
All right, Jeff. All right, you know what I'm going to talk about, right?
bring it on.
Let's do a little bit buzzing.
Ah, my lips are dry. Yeah,
And remember the posture.
there we go. Posture.
There you
Sit up.
go. Okay, try the buzzing again.
Magnetic.
Yep.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Now what I want you to think of is high and low when you're speaking. High, you want to feel that resonating, right? High, but you want to be speaking in the lower part of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try that. Go ahead and try that with the very beginning.
I'm not totally sure what you mean, but what do you mean? High with the say it again.
Yeah. So when you're speaking, think of the highness
Yeah.
but speak in the lower part of your body.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm still
Try
it's
that.
yeah, I'm not quite grasping it, but we'll give it a shot.
Okay.
I don't know. So read the same, do the same, or say
Yep.
the same
Yep.
thing. Okay. Okay. Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone.
Okay. Take your hands, massage your tongue and your neck, and then say that one more time, and feeling is right here in your chest. And let's do that again.
Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head.
The remembering. The becoming.
That's all right. Go
That
ahead.
was something. Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head.
And I'll send
I'm
it.
your host, Jeff Pearson. We want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone.
Okay, how did that feel that second time?
I'm slightly different, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
I,
what I'm
not a lot of
hearing,
difference.
I'm hearing it in here when you're
Yeah,
speaking, and I'm
yeah.
hearing a little bit of the raspiness. And I know as a fellow singer, you don't have raspy, so that's why I'm feeling as though there's a little bit of a tension here, right?
Well,
And
part of it is also that my wife is on the tail end of a cold, and I'm
okay,
it's just so yeah. So it's
that's all
possible that
right.
some of that's creeping in. But yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear
Does
you.
that make sense? And
Yeah,
one
yeah.
other thing that I want you to do when
Yep.
you are speaking, I want you to feel like you're holding your breath. Try that.
Holding my breath.
Yes.
Okay. It's hard to speak and hold your breath at the same time.
Yeah, try it.
Welcome to Invisible. No, yeah, that doesn't.
Okay,
that
not
doesn't
holding
work.
your
You gotta
breath
breathe.
here. You want to take the breath and you want to feel an expansion in your body, but you want to feel like if you're holding your breath, you're not pushing the sound.
Right, and the idea is to push the sound.
The idea is not to push the sound. The idea is to resonate and release the sound.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yep. Try it again.
okay. I'm catching about half of what you're picking up about half of what you're putting down here, but yeah. Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone.
Did anyone hear the difference in the very beginning? Did anyone hear a little bit of that resonate?
A little
Because I
bit.
heard it. I heard it resonate. Yeah,
All right.
it got a little raspy towards the end.
Yeah.
But I heard it resonate, and that's good because now you're starting to regulate, and that's what we
Okay.
want. Great.
Sweet.
Yeah,
You know? Awesome. Thank you.
absolutely.
We are at time, but I would urge anybody who would love to connect with us to download our guide and reach out to us. Daniel, you want to put your email in the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and put my email in there. And then also, I've got the link for the Overlook to Unforgettable call as well. And I'll go ahead and I'll put those back in there one more time. Go ahead and grab your free gift and book your free call. And I'd love to be able to serve and help anyone else out.
Laura, you said you were going to put up the camera that you're using?
Oh, yes,
Special
yes.
camera?
Let me pull. Oh, that's what you were referencing. I wasn't quite sure what you said. Yes, let me put it down. It's called the
Thanks.
center cam. And let me go and grab that for you right away. Thank you. So take a look at that. I mean, I find it pretty easy. It's small, it's portable, it goes great over a screen.
Great. Do we have any other any other questions? We got to hop off, but want to make sure that your questions are answered. If you got any dying questions that you want to ask us.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for everyone for coming. Thank you for those who are already scheduling calls. Jeff will speak soon. And I know you'll be talking with Daniel. We really appreciate you taking your time today. Going to take a look at the recording and hopefully everything is just as it should be. And we'll be able to send that out tomorrow. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, you'd like to know more, Daniel's got a wonderful full program he'd be happy to share with you more about. I also work with people and, have many different facets of my program as well. But we promised we were not going to be selling you. This is information that you can use. So please download our complimentary gifts and stay in touch. And we'll look forward to talking with everybody again soon. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Resonate with your audience.